Coming up on Citrus TV News, a student sent abroad by Syracuse University to avoid the mumps outbreak. CitrusTV reporter Gabrielle has her story.
And a local athlete from Central New York will carry Team USA's flag in the Olympics opening ceremony tomorrow.
And parties in the streets of Philadelphia today at the Eagles Super Bowl parade this morning. All this and more, Citrus TV News Live at 6 starts right now.
This is Citrus TV News Live at 6, your campus news leader.
Welcome to Citrus TV News. I'm Conor White.
And I'm Jack Watson. Here are tonight's top stories. Today kicks off the Pixels and Print Design Competition. Citrus TV reporter Anna Azallion is reporting live from Newhouse with the story. What's going on, Anna?
Thanks, Jack. I'm here in Newhouse 1, where the Pixels and Print Design Workshop registration is happening right behind me. Over the next 48 hours, Newhouse graphic design students will be working with industry professionals to design for an organization. The organization this year is the My Journey to Freedom project, and the director of the workshop, Renee Stevens, tells me that everything the students design will be used for the organization.
You mentioned the My Journey to Freedom project. What is that?
The Newhouse Department of Multimedia Photography and Design is partnering with the Newhouse Center for Global Engagement and 2 other organizations to create an online archive documenting refugees' life. And participants in this workshop will create a logo and several other visual elements for this online archive.
And Anna, who are some of the professionals working with the competition participants?
There's 8 industry professionals this year, and they include product designers from Adobe and several Newhouse alumni. And this weekend, they'll be acting as art directors to help the students with their projects.
Anna Azallion reporting live tonight from Newhouse. Thanks, Anna.
Citrus TV reporter Gabrielle found out how last semester's mumps outbreak changed the course of one Syracuse student's college career.
By the end of this semester, Syracuse University junior Natalie Bailey will have spent the majority of her junior year away from Syracuse's main campus. You see, Natalie is allergic to the MMR vaccine, and when the mumps emerged within the student population in the fall, she had to be isolated to a hotel in downtown Syracuse.
It's meant to be 26 days since the last confirmed case, but every confirmed case refreshed the 26 days, so I ended up being there for 74 days.
Natalie says spending the fall semester in a hotel was not fun or easy.
I had to be by myself. I had no motivation to do anything. All of my classes, I had to do them online, so it made it so much harder. I couldn't work with anyone. I couldn't see my friends unless they came to visit me, but obviously life still goes on at Syracuse and I just wasn't there. So it was really hard.
Natalie is spending her spring semester studying in her hometown here at the Syracuse University London Center because she says the university told her she was not allowed to return to campus in case the mumps outbreak continued.
I'm trying to be okay and just have a good time, but it's obviously so frustrating because it's out of my control and there's nothing I can do about it. But I'm gonna stay positive.
She says she cannot wait to return to Syracuse's main campus in August. Reporting from London, Gabrielle Citrus TV News.
According to Health Services, there are currently 54 confirmed cases of the mumps on campus.
And the former Whitman dean arrested for prostitution charges has a new job in a place colder than Syracuse. Kenneth Kaviech landed a job at the University of Stavanger in Norway as a visiting finance professor. Kaviech was fired from SU in the fall of 2016 after being arrested during a prostitution sting. And a group of residents in the Syracuse Quality Living Homes marched Tuesday night to protest unsafe living conditions. Tenants of SQL apartments have dealt with rodent infestations, broken appliances, ceiling leaks, and a lack of maintenance of such problems. The tenants produced a list of demands to SQL landlord Ravi Saluja. The protests came after Saluja canceled a meeting with one of those tenants.
And the Southside Innovation Center has been a mecca for entrepreneurship in Syracuse for the past 12 years. CitrusTV reporter James Groh is live in studio to tell us how it is taking on a new role.
Yeah, no longer will the Southside Innovation Center be helping just new entrepreneurs. Now, with the help of the state government, it's focusing on medium-sized businesses.
In 2018, small businesses and startups get all the attention. But what about mid-level businesses looking to grow bigger? Well, now the state of New York has a plan for them, and it's not just handing out money.
Gain access to markets, gain access to networks, and gain access to information.
It's called the Business Growth Accelerator Program, and it's meant for minority and women entrepreneurs. But why do these already established companies need more help? What about small, struggling businesses?
$3 million might sound like a whole lot of money, but when you add on working capital, when you add on the number of staff that you have on board, when you add on the other expenses that you've got, the owner actually is not making anywhere near that $3 million, right?
Simply put,
that comes from a song that I like, more money, more problems.
Now, only those with MWBE certification can apply for the Business Growth Accelerator Program. If you think your business qualifies, email or call the Southside Innovation Center, but act fast. Deadline is tomorrow.
Thanks, James. A Central New York woman will have the honor of carrying Team USA's flag during the opening ceremony of the Olympics tomorrow. Oneida County's Erin Hamlin was voted to be the United States' flag bearer by Team USA. Hamlin is competing in her 4th Olympics on the USA's luge team. She made history in Sochi as the first American to win a medal in luge singles, earning a bronze. Hamlin will look to win another medal during the women's luge competition on February 12th. And although Erin Hamlin is the pride of New York, her selection does not come without controversy. After the announcement, Shawnee Davis, a 2-time winner of the 1,000-meter speed skating event, sent a tweet suggesting that he was not chosen to be the flag bearer on the basis of race. He ended the tweet with hashtag Black History Month 2018 and says he will wait to bear the flag in 2022. Out of the 8 nominees, Davis and Hamlin ended in a tie. A coin toss determined Hamlin would be the flag bearer.
And Cornell University's Zeta Beta Tau fraternity chapter will begin a 2-year probation following reports of a secret game called the, quote, pig roast, in which potential brothers earn points for having sex with overweight women. Cornell's Office of Sorority and Fraternity Life received reports about the game in 2017 and has been investigating the chapter since. And Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell are balling on a budget. After agreeing on a bipartisan budget deal, the two decided to celebrate by heading to a basketball game. Schumer invited McConnell to the Dome next year for a game between Louisville and Syracuse to watch their home state teams. Relations between the Republicans and Democrats have been strained since the two failed to come up with a budget last month.
Well, Jack, we've had nothing but snow this week. It's just been downpouring, snows everywhere. It's been a mess.
That's right. It tapered off a little bit today, but it continued into this morning, and our weather anchor, Nicole Weaving, is here to tell us more. Nicole?
Yeah, those larger flakes are definitely quite annoying, but we got a break from the snow this afternoon, which is definitely warranted. So currently right now in Syracuse, it's about 23, registering our warmest temperatures down in Elmira at 25 and our coolest temperatures over in Rochester as you get closer to the lake. But tonight it's going to get down to about a low of about 12 degrees. There are a few flurries possible, but only about a 15% chance, so not likely that will really accumulate too much tonight. And the wind will be at about 10 to 15 miles per hour, so right at about that mark where you might get some snow wisping in your face from today. But as winter storm Mateo moves in, we'll see some more snow this weekend. I'll tell you more in my full weather forecast.
Thanks, Nicole. Coming up, the Senate has finally agreed on a long-term spending bill. But is it enough to prevent another government shutdown?
And the U.S. launches an airstrike towards a pro-government group in Syria. Stick with us.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown and feel technique. After the first drown, a good start. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay. Yeah.
Hey Smokey, catch! Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. and move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
If you see news happening on campus, in Syracuse, or across the nation, call the CitrusTV Newsroom, 315-443-1177, or tweet at CitrusTV News, your campus news leader.
Senate leaders reached a budget agreement last night that will raise government spending over the next 2 years.
The agreement would add billions of dollars to military and domestic programs over the next 2 years while raising the federal debt limit. This budget agreement comes a day after President Trump threatened to shut down the government.
The House of Representatives is expected to vote on the agreement by midnight tonight. The deal will have to be approved by the House in order to prevent a government shutdown.
And House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi spoke for 8 hours yesterday on the House floor.
In an attempt to make a point about DACA, Pelosi talked continuously about Dreamers in a filibuster-style speech to help underscore the need for immigration reform, an issue that is at the center of Democratic politics and contributed to the government shutdown in January.
And during her speech, Pelosi discovered that her speech broke a record.
I just got word that the House historian confirms you have now set the record for the longest continuous speech in the House since at least 1909.
And a top White House aide resigned on Wednesday amid abuse allegations from his 2 ex-wives.
Rob Porter's first 2 wives both said their ex-husband's constant abuse was the reason for their divorce. Both women detailed to CNN what they said were years of abuse from Porter, including incidents of physical violence.
Porter denied the allegations in a statement earlier this week.
And this morning in Philadelphia, millions lined the streets for the much-anticipated Super Bowl parade to celebrate the Eagles' first title in the Super Bowl era. Fans climbed street lights and trees to cheer on the team despite the 33-degree temperatures.
CitrusTV reporter Brendan Tierney went to support his and Jack's hometown team and give us a look at the parade.
The city of Philadelphia is completely shut down today to celebrate the first Super Bowl victory in Eagles history. Now, the city had the parade start at 11 o'clock this morning. It's made its way down Broad Street, and now it's on the Ben Franklin Parkway and will be culminating at the Art Museum on the Rocky Steps with the ceremony starting at 1 o'clock. Now, people started camping out last night at about 11 o'clock to get prime spots, and they're definitely getting rowdy out here as the day goes along. That's because Bud Light, before the season, promised they would pick up the tab for the city of Philadelphia if Lane Johnson helped them win the Super Bowl. So there's a lot of liquid encouragement going on here in Philadelphia today. So far, only a couple of arrests for disorderly conduct. Overall, very happy festive atmosphere. In Philadelphia, Brendan Tierney, CitrusTV News.
And the United States carried out an airstrike on Syrian pro-government forces early this morning.
About 100 pro-government fighters were killed and dozens were left wounded. There were no American casualties.
This attack comes a day after pro-government forces attacked U.S.-backed Syrian Democratic forces.
And Bermuda is now the first country to legalize and then repeal same-sex marriage. Despite the Supreme Court authorizing same-sex marriage last year, Bermuda Governor John Rankin has signed a bill reversing the right of gay couples to marry.
Government officials say same-sex couples will not have the option of a registered domestic partnership, but those couples would have, quote, equivalent rights to heterosexual couples. And on the eve of the Winter Olympics in South Korea, North Korea is putting on a strategic display of their military.
The parade started in Kim Il-sung Square Thursday and involved hundreds of soldiers, planes and missiles, and tanks. According to Kim Jong-un, the country is showing the strength of North Korea's military. And coming up, Amazon is unveiling a new way for its customers to get groceries.
And CitrusTV reporter Chris Venzon spent time with a local sports team on their road to victory. All that after this.
It inspires passionate debate, and it's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Did you hear about the pony with a sore throat? He was a little horse. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why couldn't the Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Where the cats go on vacation? New York.
From the CitrusTV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
So as I mentioned, it's unlikely that we'll see any snow tonight, but that's not necessarily the story tomorrow. As we take a look at our Doppler radar, right now we're in this clearer patch, but by the time it hits noon tomorrow, that's when you see all of this snow starting to move in and should definitely last through most of the afternoon into tomorrow, most of tomorrow afternoon. So when you wake up in the morning, it'll be about 17 degrees and warm up to 22, even warmer to about 25 degrees by 6 p.m. And as I mentioned, that snow starts at noon with not too much wind, only about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Now, yesterday, Syracuse eclipsed the 100-inch mark for snow accumulation this season so far. That's about 17 inches above average for what we would see on the date yesterday. Usually we'd hit about the 100-inch mark right around February 26th, and that's about 6 inches we accumulated yesterday. Now, Syracuse is usually the snowiest city in the U.S., but it doesn't look like it's going to be able to eclipse Erie, Pennsylvania this year. And then also, we're tracking Winter Storm Mateo that is moving in. It's going to be starting over in Montana and traveling eastward, so it'll start tonight for Montana, and by Friday afternoon into the night, it'll move over to New England, and it'll hit Syracuse, as I mentioned, right around noon tomorrow. Thanks, guys. Back to you.
Thanks, Nicole. This morning, Amazon announced a new delivery service that will allow Prime members to get Whole Foods groceries delivered to them in only 2 hours. The service is starting in Austin, Cincinnati, Dallas, and Virginia Beach, and Amazon hopes to expand later in the year. The delivery service will be available between 8 and 10, and purchases must be more than $35. This is the latest move since Amazon acquired Whole Foods last June.
And a Liverpool High School's basketball team was not used to winning ways until they reached the state Final Four last season. This season, they're back and better than ever, and an SU alum is leading the way for the team. CitrusTV reporter Chris Venzon gives us a first-hand look at the coach and his team.
It's game time at Liverpool High School, which means Ryan Blackwell has just settled into his comfort zone. In just his second year as head coach, Blackwell has his Warriors ranked number 4 in all of New York. The team's noticeable chemistry flows from its head coach's confident, easygoing demeanor. But on Blackwell's team, if you don't perform,
he'll give you that look. He'll give you that stare down.
What do you mean? What's that?
Like you just stare you down, yeah.
And what does that mean?
Better start playing.
Wrap around, you'll be wide open.
Coach Blackwell learned how to dish out the tough love in Japan as a player and coach for the Sendai 89ers. Blackwell spent 10 years playing overseas after starting for 3 seasons at Syracuse University in the late 90s.
I want somebody to push me, and I want to know that they're in my corner.
Good job, good job.
It's the type of support that's changed the lives of his players.
Just help my attitude get better, on and off the court.
And the type of support he wished he had overseas.
I kind of, I guess maybe didn't take it as serious as I used to when I was younger. So I was like, well, either I'm going to go into the corporate world and do something back home or get into coaching. I think that was a great decision on my part.
Now Blackwell's found a home where he can have an even bigger impact off the court than he could ever have on one.
I enjoy it. I enjoy basketball, obviously. I enjoy sports, but I enjoy mentoring these kids, especially these kids at this age. Or, they're emotional. They have a lot of things going on, and it's a crazy world out there, and just trying to steer them in the right direction is great.
Chris Venzon, CitrusTV.
The team is currently ranked 4th in the state and 30th in the nation.
Coming up in sports, how was the SU basketball team dealing with a thin roster this year? Plus, it was nothing short of a wild day for the NBA trade deadline. I've got you covered in sports with all the moves around the league. Stay with us.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
They said a bottle was just a bottle. That no one would ever notice me. But I knew I could be more. That one day, I would make people smile.
And now, your Citrus TV Sports Report.
Good evening, I'm Jake Marsh with sports. If you've attended just one Syracuse men's basketball game this year and looked over at the bench, you won't see many players take off their warm-up gear. Jim Boeheim has stuck to a 6, sometimes 7-man rotation all year long, and that won't change anytime soon. So what are some of the benefits to a thin depth chart? Let the Hall of Famer explain.
The one thing I think it has helped a little bit, and I believe this, when you know you're going to play the whole game and you're not quite as confident maybe as you should be, I think you play better. I really do.
The short-handed Orange still has a few more days until its next contest. SU hosts Wake Forest on Sunday. But folks, we've got a loaded ACC slate tonight. 16th ranked Clemson hosts struggling Pittsburgh. Louisville tries to bounce back off that tough loss to SU at home against Georgia Tech. But I've got a feeling everyone has their eyes set on the best rivalry in college basketball. Number 9 Duke, number 21 North Carolina in Chapel Hill in prime time. And as hoop season comes down to the wire, Syracuse lacrosse's 2018 debut is just 2 days away. But entering Saturday's game with Binghamton, one of the top storylines involves a star from last year's team. Former defenseman Paolo Ciferri is now an assistant coach for the Bearcats. So now that the former captain is on the opposite sideline, how does that affect Coach John Desko's game plan?
I'm sure that gives them a little bit of an advantage if they want to pick his brain on our personnel and tendencies. But we've got to come ready to play every week. I'm glad he's got the opportunity. Very rare to have someone out of college get an opportunity to coach at the Division I level.
Ciferri had 1 assist against Binghamton in a 9-8 SU win last year. Saturday's contest marks the first of 3 games against opponents whose school is also in New York. Staying on the hill, Syracuse's women's tennis team continues to raise some eyebrows early on this season. A day before hosting Connecticut, one doubles pair continues to shine on the national stage. Duo Gabrielle Knutson and Miranda Ramirez checking at 13th in the ITA national doubles rankings. That's 46 spots higher than their preseason number. Meanwhile, brace yourselves, basketball fans. The NBA trade deadline passed earlier this afternoon, and the moves were nothing short of dramatic. First up, Rodney Hood and George Hill are joining the Eastern Conference's favorite to make the finals. This part of a 3-team deal that sends Jay Crowder and veteran Derrick Rose out west. But it doesn't end there for LeBron's squad. Owner Dan Gilbert going all in while the GOAT is still on his roster. So with that, the Isaiah Thomas experiment is over in Cleveland. The Cavs traded their starting point guard and Channing Frye to the Lakers for Jordan Clarkson and Larry Nance Jr. And the final move for Cleveland is a homecoming for a South Florida legend. Yes, Dwayne Wade is coming back to Miami for a second-round pick. Flash, of course, part of 3 titles with the Heat. Elsewhere, a former Syracuse standout has been traded to Toronto. One-and-done product Malachi Richardson joins the Raptors after spending nearly 2 years out in Sacramento. Lastly, do not worry, Knicks fans, your team got in on the action too. 21-year-old Emmanuel Mudiay is off to play under the bright lights in the Big Apple. New York gave up Doug McDermott in a 3-team deal. And speaking of a Syracuse alum, his new squad faces a Knicks team who must recover from its biggest loss of the year. New York heads north of the border tonight in its first game without Kristaps Porzingis, who tore his ACL on Tuesday night. This is the beginning of a 3-game road trip for the team from NYC. They're 5 games behind the 8th spot in the Eastern Conference. Traveling overseas now, if you're a morning person who loves to represent our country, you are in luck. The 2018 Winter Olympic opening ceremonies from Pyeongchang, South Korea are set to get underway at 6 a.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. Some games have already begun, including the debut of mixed doubles curling last night. And back on the ice, but in a sport where Americans are more familiar with, it's a battle of New York teams tonight out in Buffalo. The Sabres try to salvage a 5-game homestand with at least 1 win under their belts. They lost 4 straight at home. Meanwhile, the Islanders aim to bounce back off an overtime loss in Nashville earlier this week.
Jake Marsh, thanks so much for being with us tonight. Now, Jake, lots of moves made in the NBA trade deadline. What was your favorite?
No question, I'm a South Florida guy. So, guys, Dwayne Wade is back with the Miami Heat. Love to see it. And after 13 years at the Heat, he's making his return, 3 championships. No other way to go out.
All right, well, we'll see how he does now that he's back on the team. We'll be right back after this. Don't go away.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day, I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Got a quarter?
And before we go, of course, we have to look at our 5-day forecast. So as I mentioned, we have some of that snow moving in on Friday, going to carry through into Sunday until it'll turn into some rain because of that higher 39-degree high that we have that day. And then mostly just some clouds for Monday and Tuesday. Those temperatures, high of 31 and then a high of 38. Back to you guys.
Thanks so much, Nicole. And that's all the time we have for Citrus TV News. I'm Jack Watson.
And I'm Conor White. Have a great night, Syracuse.